Thomas & Friends Easter merchandise. My goodness me, I actually found some in 2025, but in 2024 I couldn't find any, and that was part of the backbone of the Where's Thomas video that I made. In this video we're going to take a look at some All Engines Go inspired Easter merchandise, and we'll delve into a little bit of older merchandise as well, which is showing its chocolate age. Warning: the warning on this video has been removed, and this video is intended for people who have a mature mindset. If you're a snowflake style of person, this video is not for you. Before we get too hyped up on chocolate, let's go for a toy hunt for that new classic Thomas & Friends stuff. Yeah, what fun! I came in my least favourite retail store. This is the first week of June of 2025. I'm looking for the new classic Thomas & Friends stuff, and guess what I find here? Oh my goodness me. Another disappointing toy hunt. When looking at the stock here, it's actually not that different to when I was in here a couple of weeks ago. It's just for the fact the stock's been all brought forward to the front of shelves, although there's a big gap there. But to reveal the magic here, if I go in and look at this talking Nia here, guess what's behind her? Fat Zero. So yes, it looks fantastic. It's all up front. And the line of Nias is just completely and utterly spectacular. Look at that, there, it goes on forever. And I've pressed this Nia here. I suppose they're all going to talk to me.
Hiya, friend. Hello, Nia.
There's something about Nia which is a hard sell. Known that for a long time. I still haven't found the 3-pack Beachy Nia. Okay. Thomas Mini Cell, it's up too high. In my book, should be down lower. I think these are popular. Go back to wave 1. Some of these have appeared in here. It's weird, they seem to appear and disappear. Whether or not they're being sold, let's hope they are. I think it's a pretty nice pack to get. As in track pack, builder pack, whatever you want to call it, has that on top, which is part of the thing that you build up. Empty gap here, and then a really nice, I call it a nice AEG 5-pack. I give this one a thumbs up, but it's just a facade, because if I pull one over like that, there's nothing going on behind. But it looks good when there's a wall of them. If I go up here, we've got the Baby Fight AEG, which I think is a bit of a hard sell. There's a Bruno there, there's a Nia, of course there's going to be in there, and I think there's another Bruno. Okay, next to that is Metal Collection, All Engines Go. That's on the wrong peg. These are the $6 ones, but it's on the $12 peg. You can see his here if I quickly do this. Okay, couple of good choices here, and here as well. There's a duck hiding behind there. I can't put my light on, sorry, because I've got the crapper will crap itself. And Sandy the Stupid Slipper is always the very, very hard sell, and I see her all the time hanging out on the pegs. But one of the penultimate peg sitters, and that Carly there shouldn't be there. That Carly should be here where Diesel's hiding out. Okay, going down to these lower levels here, and well, this stuff here to me hasn't changed that much. I'll just walk along here. These sets, I'm pretty sure these were here before. Okay, the AEG James set, which is the one which had the end display, and there were so many of them. I think there's all been packed into here now. I'm pretty sure if I pull one of these forward, they're all packed into here. So this is the one where you've got layers and layers of stuff going on here. Okay, yeah, Baby Fight AEG, very much a hard sell. That's what I see from just looking at what's going on in shops of the few retailers that sell this stuff. Of course, that beautiful talking Bulstrode Which Way Bridge, that seems to be another very difficult sell. I think it's a bit overpriced. And there's that table blah blah down there. Maybe it's good, bad, or indifferent, I don't know. Okay, going from the floor up, this is the Thomas area in the only retailer in a very large shopping mall that sells Thomas & Friends gear. And a couple of years ago in this same shopping mall, it used to be 7 or 8 retailers that sold Thomas & Friends gear, but sadly it seems we live in very different days now. Well, Bubble is settling in on the table. If Bubble could unbox stuff for me, she would be useful, but cats, from what I can work out, can't unbox anything. So I've got to unbox this glorious pack here. I've lost my military grade chicken in a tragic accident a few videos ago, and maybe I'll try a new process. And in the new process, I'm a bit curious whether a colour change at Thomas like this will be affected by the process. I've got something that creates a huge temperature change. I wonder if it will work. What do you think, Bubble? See, rubber chickens don't work when they're dead. It's unfortunate. For this little experiment, it's going to be best if I get this out of packaging, and you'll understand why. once we get up and running. Okay, got a little test chamber outside here, and if I sit that in there like that, nice and pretty, and I'll set up my beautiful, very hard to find, spanky colour changer Thomas somewhere about there. Spanky. Okay, I'm ready to rock and roll with this experimental unboxing process. Okay, let's get dusted. Don't think that unboxing process quite worked as I wanted it to. How unfortunate. I'll see what I can salvage from that mess. Not sure what I'm going to show now. My crikeys, it's like a piece of art. It's actually quite bizarre the way this is all melded together. It's all one piece. Look at that. I mean, I couldn't do that twice. If I was really smart, I'd put that up on eBay for a couple of $1,000s and some idiot would come along and buy something like that. And I'm wondering, has that colour changing Thomas actually changed colour? I have got another one of those very beautiful All Engines Go colour changing Thomases there. I can't believe that. Look at that. It has changed colour. A little bit of flame, just a little bit, and it's changed the colour phase of that colour changing Thomas. I mean, that's amazing. I've got to hope we learn something here, or else I get flagged off the site, such as the nature of YouTube. I'll just buzz that away that way. And I think it was the plastic packaging that was within this that sort of bound it all together. It's like it's been encased in its own plastic nightmare, if that makes any sort of sense. The cardboard's been totally burnt away, and the most bizarre thing is that chocolate egg is, as far as I can see, it's still in very, very good condition. Maybe that's a story about the type of chocolate that's been used, or more of a story about aluminium as a good insulator of heat. Luckily, very luckily, I've actually got, dun dun dun, there's another one there, all in box. Let's take a look. Okay, with Bubbles' assistance, here it is here, the Thomas & Friends Melamine breakfast set with milk chocolate egg. Found this in ALDI Australia. It was for $8.99, basically $9. I've got pictures here in store. There's also Disney blah blah there and something Hot Wheels. And I noticed the positioning in store was very poor. It was right down the bottom. I nearly didn't see this. And in the end, a lot of these didn't sell. A lot of them were there after Easter. But quite an unusual find. And it's rare to see All Engines Go merch. Thank you, Bubble. Yeah, as per usual, between the camera and what I want to see. I was excited to see this. I'll just show you around the box what it looks like. Yeah, All Engines Go merchandise has been chronically shy. Back of the box there. So, looks like you can cut this out and you put your name there, which is nice. I don't think there's anything underneath the box. There's some licensing blah blah there. Maybe I'll just go quickly in on that so you can have a read. While I'm looking at this here, this is interesting. Park Avenue, imported by Park Avenue, blah blah blah, their address. There's a map of Australia there with the Australian flag, 100% Australian owned, and it's quite bold font there. That's what I noticed there. My eye went straight to that. But on the other side, this is very interesting, this read here. Milk chocolate made in Singapore, moulded and packed in China. So explain that to me, please. Well, I'm thinking that the Singapore aspect is, when I worked in Singapore years ago, they were very good at making chocolate that could survive the very, very hot climate that Singapore's got, because it's right on the equator. Little bits of cardboard just fell out. I'm just going to pull this out of here. Oh yeah, okay, I understand why the one that got fried got wrapped in plastic, because this is in essence in its own complete plastic bubble. Okay, so there's plastic on the side and there's plastic on the other as well, and I'll have to separate this to get into the goodies. So exciting. Egg-citing, I should say. Sorry for the pun. Okay, just get these out. We'll take a look at this first. Okay, tricky monster to see because it gets shadowy inside quite easily. Inside there it says it's all good. There's a Thomas & Friends cloud there, and very, very faint the licensing details there, which is telling me this is legit. And there's a close-up of the graphic at the bottom of the bowl. It's all good. I'd almost say this is highly collectible considering the way all engines go is so different. Saying that in the nicest way. It says melamine wear on the base there. Okay, so had a good look at that. Next we'll take a look at this little spoon, and I'll have to put my hand up like that and we'll come in closer on this one. So on the bottom of the spoon there's a little graphic of Thomas there, and up on the handle we've got this beautiful graphic here of Thomas, Nia and Perthy. Maybe it'd be nice if the cloud graphic was more centered. It looks like it's a bit off line there, or maybe that's the way it's meant to be. We'll take a look at the cup next. Okay, Thomas and Friends Cloud. We've got Percy there with 6, says 6 Percy with that kooky AEG graphic, and this one here says number 1 gets it done. It's a Thomas graphic there, so very unusual, very AEG. But you know, sometimes it's that really wacky, unusual stuff that becomes highly collectible in the future. While I'm in closer, there's all the other little stenciled graphics here as well, floating around amongst the blue there. Here's a closer look at number 1 gets it done. It's a very, very unusual graphic of Thomas. The more you look at the way that's done, but then that's AEG eyes, isn't it? I suppose some people find that exciting. As I keep saying, highly collectible. Don't laugh about that. You know, you might come back in maybe 20, 30 years time, and this thing will be on eBay for thousands of dollars. Oh yeah, it's really nice. It's highly collectible, and the best thing about this melamine stuff, it's super tough. I'll just show you. Oh, sugar. Glad I didn't say the word shit. Yeah, tough stuff. Don't worry, it's all good. Maybe that spoon's a bit tougher. Nah. Got me curious. I wonder if that heating process I did made that melamine a bit stronger. Well, I certainly taught myself a bit of heat changed the colour changing Thomas. You just never know. This stuff could be a lot tougher after that little bit of heat. All in the name of science, and this is a multi-$1,000 eBay collectible. Nah. Still shatters. Maybe the egg's a lot stronger. Nah. It's gone. And don't tell me you learned nothing from the chaos you see here. I've learned heaps of things. I've learned flamethrowers are basically useless at unboxing stuff. And I've also learned a cheap hammer can destroy what would have been a multiple $1,000 eBay sale of a very rare, very customised Thomas collectible. My God, how stupid was I to smash it up. I'll carefully tidy up the table here, and next we're going to take a look at some Thomas and Friends Easter merch from a couple of years ago. And it's very curious in a number of ways. Okay, I've tidied the table up, and on the table I've got this spectacular bygone era, as I'll call it, Chocolate Thomas the Tank. It was something I saw in ALDI around Easter time. I think there was 2 variations of the packaging of this. I think this is the earlier version, and there is a date on this as in a use by date. We'll get to that soon, and it will reveal how old this is. I like the packaging because it looks like a tunnel, and there's the train in the tunnel, and this is the other side here. Okay, so we'll take a look underneath here very carefully, and we'll just take a look at a date. Okay, there's licensing info there of 2019, and there's also a best before date there, and the year is 2019 as well. So considering the dates there, let's just call this a 7-year-old Chocolate Thomas. Let's take a look where this was made. Crikeys, made in the United Kingdom, imported to Australia, blah blah blah. And before I flip it, let's just take a look at the cocoa amounts. It's up here. Looking at the ingredient list here, the main ingredient is sugar, that's the most of, then cocoa butter, dried milk, whole milk, cocoa mass, blah blah blah. Looking at the chocolate breakdown, it says cocoa solids 30% minimum, milk solids 20% minimum, then there is some white chocolate in this which contains milk solids 20% minimum. And to look at the All Engines Go Easter treat, which was the Easter egg that was milk chocolate made in Singapore, moulded and packed in China, it says milk chocolate contains a minimum of 32% cocoa solids, that's 2% more than the other one, and a minimum of 15% milk solids, so that's 5% less than the other one. Back on the 2019 UK Chocolate Thomas here, look, I'd have much more faith in something that's made in the UK or Europe when it comes to chocolate than anything food-wise that's been fiddled with through China. Time for the latex gloves. Oh, it's been a while, hasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to try and manhandle this glorious, historic Chocolate Thomas. Won't that be fun? I can't wait. I think from memory, you can open up an end and slide it out. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't want to break this. That's famous last words when I say something like that. Okay, I'll just try to slide this out very gently. Ooh, yeah. It's a very, very interesting thing that's gone on with the chocolate here. Okay, I just don't want this to go to shit here and fall apart. Now, I only noticed this strange pattern happening, well, I'll say, when I say recently, that's being very general. I'll say, oh, more so in the last year and a bit. It didn't look much different. This sits in my room, so I look at this all the time in a sense. I'm just going to get this out away from the packaging. Just going to move the packaging back, and then we're going to have a bit of a closer look at what's going on here. Well, the first thing I'll say is it doesn't rub off, whatever's gone on with the chocolate here. It seems to be fairly uniform in the way that it's affected the chocolate. I'll go and spin it this way very carefully before I go in a bit closer on some sections. It sits up in the room. Well, it's not, first of all, it's not in direct sunlight. It's up in a much more secluded area of my room. I can look at this. I can look up and look at this all the time. I'll just take a look underneath, which is something, yeah. So it's gone a bit wonky there on the bottom there. So whatever's happened here. Okay, we haven't got the weird pattern on the bottom is what I'll say, versus what we can see on the sides. We've got an interesting pattern going on. And looking across the top here, it's a lovely detailed piece, this. You know, it really is a bit of an insight into the bygone era of Thomas in multiple ways. And I've had this thing about the Easter treats in general, and it's not just Thomas and Friends, but in general have been very, very lackluster over the last couple of years. We've sort of gone down this road of, oh, we'll just throw any cheap rubbish into the marketplace and yeah, that'll be the stuff that will sell. Okay, I'll just get the camera in a bit closer on this. They come up closer now, and you start to see the beautiful details in this chocolate mould. It's got more details than a lot of the Thomas and Friends toys. Sad, isn't it? The white chocolate face is there. Okay, it's very much a classic face. There we go. Yeah, a beautiful piece. Yeah, I actually had a few of these, but there was one that I kept, and I remember showing. I'm sure I've showed these before on my channel. I'll just go across the top here. I'm just being really gentle here because I want to try and preserve this for years to come when I've been on YouTube for, you know, 50 years. Imagine that. It's not going to happen, I can tell you. So, yeah, so there's a nice closer version of this Thomas, eh? And, you know, as I said, we don't see wonderful things like this in the marketplace these days. Okay, to get this monster back into its packaging. And what's assisting me in this video is the fact that I'm in winter time at the moment. It's been bitterly cold in Sydney. We've had a polar blast, whatever they call them. It's like, yeah, temperatures feels like 2 degrees. It's been horrible. We're not yet at the winter solstice, which is a couple of weeks away. It's been very cold very early on, and now I've got to get this monster into the tunnel. I think it goes around the other way. Please go back in without being broken. I am curious to see how this thing decays. Okay, I'll just get this. Oh man, it's actually working for me. I can't believe this. It's like a frippin' Thomas and Friends miracle. Yay, it's back in. This chocolate Thomas nearly got used in a video where I was going to get a colony of ants to eat the chocolate Thomas. I thought, wouldn't that be a fun thing to do? But then I thought to myself how other times I've done time-lapse videos of things being eaten and whatnot, and next thing they're demonetized. So I thought the best thing is just to not even have that thought, hey? There we go, it's a miracle. You would not even know I have fiddled and diddled with that beautiful historical chocolate Thomas. Now, out of curiosity, I've got some Cadbury's Dairy Milk chocolate of the same era as that chocolate Thomas. Let me just show the use by date on this one. It's just here, let me go in closer on that. There it is there, best before date, basically right up the end of 2019. Okay, a 2019 block of Cadbury's Dairy Milk chocolate, 200 grams. It has not been opened. I had a comment on my YouTube channel from a few videos back. I'll strip it along the top here, and it's from Aiden Teskey 9000. He's basically asking me, Leo, can you do a downsizing video about the chocolate blah 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 has gone from blah 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 to blah blah blah. And I thought to myself, you know what, let someone else do those videos, hey? The risk reward in those videos, it just ain't worth it. I'll just say it like that. And in the end, the companies, there's no law against making a profit. And they will profit. Now, I'm opening this up because I'm just curious to see what this looks like versus the little chocolate Thomas that we had a look at before. Well, I'll tell you something straight away. I can see this looks like a normal block of chocolate, although there's some shiny pieces there. I'm not sure whether that was there to start with. Just going to roll it over to the side that you'll see the... It looks like a brand new piece of chocolate. My goodness me. That is frippin' amazing. Look at that. It's like it's completely frozen in time. I mean, if I served that up on a plate at a party, you'd never know it's 7 years old. I'm just going in closer for the disbelievers. It's miraculous how this looks. It looks like it's come straight out of the chocolate factory. And I'll just show you the back. It had those glossy bits going on the back. Wow, that's amazing. Let me take a look at an older block of chocolate that I've got hiding away. Well, in my books, that looks brand spanking new. Looks like it's just been made. Maybe you'll see it differently to me. Look at this box here, Downsizing Examples. Oh boy. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go backwards in time here. But we're going to go backwards in time in a really, really interesting way. Oh yeah, baby. The memories are flooding back. Let's take a look at this. Okay, these two blocks of chocolate are infamous on my channel. These are the ones used in the Cadbury Downsize video from many years ago. I was very familiar with this product. I used to eat a lot of this stuff. Guess what? I don't eat it now. After this downsize, I turned right off the brand. Isn't that weird? This is the 250 gram block that miraculously got downsized to 200 grams. Now, the bit I didn't like about this, and it was very simple, was when you lined one up against the other one. Remember, one's 250, the one below, and the one on top is 200. I'm going to just hold it nice and tight on the ends here. And then when I show you the edges here, you say to yourself, hang on a second, these look basically the same size. That is a miracle. I mean, who thought of doing that packaging to bloat out a 200 gram block of chocolate to make it look like what came before it in size? Now, to give you an illustration of what 200 grams of chocolate looks like on top of this 250 gram, well, the one that I just unboxed before, if I lay this on top here, getting it on the edge here, oh my goodness me, look at that, it's much smaller. Look at that. I mean, that's the truth there. Yeah, remember, I can put 200 grams of the chocolate, same brand, same company, blah, 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 on top there, and then you say, hang on a second, how did they pull that off? It's like a complete miracle of packaging. Again, I'll put 200 grams on top here, on top of 250 grams, going from all the edges here. Okay, you can clearly see it's a lot smaller. Yet, they wanted to be fancy and funky and they did something like that to us. Sorry for that little mini rant there, but hey, sometimes it's nice to go back in time and remember the good old days. This has got a use by date. I have to show it very carefully here. It's down here of, let's call it 2010. Yeah, I've taped this up and I'm just going to very carefully untape this by cutting through it like this. And I'll tell you a little story. Back when I did that video, there was a media agency in Australia that contacted me and they said, Leo, can you send us out the blocks of chocolate that you used in your video? And I just said, well, no, it doesn't work like that. Go and find your own blocks of chocolate. I know what they were going to do, basically going to replicate what I did. And I was trying to keep my things, soul and special, but it's interesting how people they play out to be a friend and really they just want to flog stuff from you in the end. But hey, you get that all the time in life. Yes, I'm nearly there. It's going to be quite curious to see what this looks like, although I've got a feeling it's just going to look like a normal block of chocolate, which worries me. It's weird, I'm getting the strangest memories of when I've wrapped this back up and put it away, thinking I'm never going to touch it again. And the reason why I kept it was I was expecting to go through a whole legal court battle once Cadbury's had enough of me discussing their downsize. Oh my goodness me, the chocolate looks exactly... Oh man, it looks no different to all those years ago. I notice there's a break here, so I'm not going to move it any further. I'll just go closer in on that. Okay, I'll drag it along there. Remember, 250 grams of Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate, used by date 2010. And I remember I looked into all this and there was all this verbal and jargon about why they changed it. And I remember reading that thing, mouthfeel. I've never read so much BS in all my life. And that was the other one I unboxed there. So you can see one chocolate versus another. Really, it looks like chocolate that's just come out of the factory. Okay, a 250 gram one there. It was a 2010 use by date. The 200 gram one here, it was 2019 use by date. And I know you're going to say, well, what about a current block of Cadbury Dairy Milk? I've just raced down the shops just then. 180 gram. Yeah, let's open this one up. At the time of making this video, in the middle of 2025, I purchased 180 grams of Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate. Buying this block of chocolate has blown the budget of this video. I couldn't believe how much this was to buy. I've really been out of touch with this brand. Boy, oh boy, I had a reality check. The best before date is on the back here. Best to show this. It's 2026, so it's basically next year. And when I was down at the shops buying this, I did take a look at the little, and I use the word little in a strong way, 100 gram block they do now. And I had a chat to a lady there who is familiar with this stuff, and she said to me, I actually just quizzed her. I quizzed her, said, have they just downsized and shrunken this down? And she says, yes, they have. And she said, it's become a total joke. So that's coming from someone within a shop who's familiar with this brand. And it goes back to that comment that was left on my YouTube channel that I showed. Maybe I should show that comment again, because that is the consumers talking, okay? Mr. Cadbury, whoever you are. Okay, I've got the chocolate out of here. Look at that there. Look, to me that looks like the chocolate that I've unboxed in the other chocolate bars. This is the block I've just purchased, and I'm just going to look on the back if it's got that shininess that was going on in that 2019 block that I did. It's just right here. Let me grab it. I'll just show you what I mean by that. One's got that shiny gloss to it. Look at that. Yet the newer block hasn't got that. I wonder what's caused that shiny. Anyway, I'll lay this against the other chocolates that I've got. Okay, this is the best before 2010, the 250 gram block. This is best before 2019, 200 gram block. And this is the 180 gram block, which is best before 2026. Now, if anything, the 2026 more recent block looks like it's a lighter color in the way I'm looking at it here. And I'm looking at it naturally without looking at it through the camera. And remember, I'm looking at all my old chocolate because I'm trying to find other chocolate that's showing that strange chocolate distressing that's going on the chocolate Thomas. It's all food for thought. Sorry for the pun, I can't help myself. I will carefully pack all this away. Very carefully, because I like keeping my chocolates away from the cats. Hey, Bubble, come on. No. N-O, big fat zero, Bubble. I'll start to put this away carefully, but before I wrap it all up, maybe I'll show you some downsizing magic via the 200 gram block and 180 gram block of chocolate. Surely they're going to be a different size. I've got to hand it to them. They are masterful at downsizing. I've got the 180 gram block on top there with the 200 underneath. And when you look around here, you can barely tell there's a difference between the two blocks. It's just amazing. I think most people wouldn't even notice. Not even Bubble, and she's about to munch into this. I've packaged it back up. It looks brand spanking new. That was the 250 gram block back when it was a true family size. Then we went to that infamous rescaling of the product. 200 grams, but it was basically the same size in packet. Amazing. Another 200 gram variation. Okay, and the one I bought today, 180 grams, and that cost me $8. It blew out the budget of this video. To normalise this video and get back on track, sorry for the pun, I'll have a very quick look at this very, very nice Colour Changes Thomas AEG style. I don't have too many of these. These were actually quite hard to find in store. Let me go in closer. Okay, this is the little Colour Changer All Engines Go Thomas. It's actually very, very funky. It's got rivet details on this. It's got like a pattern, like a circuit board. It reminds me of that motorised Techno Thomas. That's what I called it. At the moment, it's in its cold format. It's a very cold day in Sydney today. It's below 10 degrees Celsius. So this is how he looks when he's in that temperature range. I can't tell you the Fahrenheit, sorry. He's got rosy cheeks when he's in his cold format. And it's going to look spiffo when we get this up and running. I don't want to put him into his warmer format. He whites out. A lot of the areas there will turn white, but that pattern remains, I believe. I'll show you an example in the back of the box soon. Yeah, it's a very, very spiffo looking Thomas. It was hard to find, and that's what I don't like. I'm tired of this stuff being hard to find. I've only found a few of these. Stupidly, I incinerated one in this video. I don't know why I did that. Maybe I could flog it on eBay and still make some dough. But yeah, if only this stuff was easier to find. The problem is there's so few retailers that carry this stuff now. That's the big problem. And I think AEG was much of that nightmare of why that happened. On the back of the packaging, that's the two colour changing formats that he has, and at the moment we're seeing him in this phase, in a sense. I really don't want to go to the warmer phase. Maybe if you buy one, you can have that fun. Before I ditch the packaging, I think I've got 4 different variations of a colour changing Thomas in All Engines Go, or it might only be 3. Or maybe you've got more than me. I'm sure you're going to tell me. Let me get the turntable up and running here, hopefully without having a train wreck. I have put new batteries in the thing that's got no name. And this is looking completely and utterly biffo. Just going over the back there, picking up a bit of speed. Can't keep your eyes off that one. Just a shame I incinerated one of these, I can tell you. Well, I've got to say, this one's ticking a lot of the boxes, and I'm a very hard marker when it comes to these sorts of collectibles. It's a very, very interesting looking Thomas, and it looks spectacular on the turntable. Wonderful. Just get a bit of a background shot there of the incinerated one. Let's never forget that one. It's a hero in my books. And the best thing about being a hero is you never get forgotten. So that incinerated colour changer Thomas there is going to live in our hearts for a long time. I think I've spooked myself about how many of these there are. I know I've got one over the back there, that Fat Controller Snowman version. I've got one of those in packet here. I had to go for a bit of a dig to find that, and I think I've got another one floating about. I did a cheat online. There are other variants as well. There's like a flaming Thomas version as well. Well, it looks like flames. Maybe it isn't. I know the one in there had plenty of flames. It's looking so pretty. I'm going to shoot some slow motion and have a little bit of a serious talk as I do. Okay, this is what's going on. I've noticed over the last couple of months, and more so the last few months, across multiple videos on my channel, there are channel names which have got custom hashes, and what the custom hash is something that some people may find offensive. It's related to a current war in the world. I won't tell you which war this is, but it's always the one side pushing their agenda. My channel is not about pushing your agenda via these custom hashes, and I look into these channels and it's very hard to tell who's running the channel. You can't tell whether this is someone who's younger or older. It could be a stolen channel for all I know. But when I looked into the custom hashes, and now everyone can do this and there's no restrictions on how many subscribers, it sort of opened up the Pandora's box, and you always get, I'll call it just the worst sort of people and spammers manipulating the system, and that seems to be what's going on. I just hope YouTube/Google are on top of this or understand what's going on. I can't block channels anymore. There is a hide user, but that doesn't seem to work. If you see something offensive that is related to the wars that are going on in the world at the moment, I'm doing my best to remove this rubbish from my comments area. I'll just let you know that. But of course, the people doing this are never going to hear me saying this up near the end of the video, because they never ever watch the videos, I'm sure. Sorry to be so serious. I hope you understand what I was talking about there. Sometimes I've got to come in and try to put out some fires that have been setting up on my channel. Such is the nature of YouTube in 2025. Okay, I'm back at my not favourite retailer, basically a week later since you saw the store at the beginning of this video. This is June 11, okay? I'm looking for the new classic Thomas & Friends stuff, and guess what I find? Fat Zero. What's your memory like in relation to what I showed in this store a week ago? Yeah, it's very interesting. Okay, let's take a look bit by bit. We'll start up there. Well, I think some of the Thomas minis are sold. The box has moved slightly. There's some of the minis out of the box here. I'll do the right thing. I'll put them in the right spot. I really think the box would do better if it was down a couple of shelves. It was down here, or preferably down there. Just below the Thomas minis, there was the track bucket. I think it's a good buy. I'm giving it the thumbs up. I don't have one, but I'll give it the thumbs up. I think one of those is sold, I think. Back to the top shelf again and looking along here, and the talking knees are in a slightly different position. They're all looking out at me, which is spooking me. I think there's 7 there. 7 talking knees and not much else. Let's see if I can get them all talking to each other.
Hiya, friend. Yeah.
Oh, there's so much fun. Along from the talking knees, we get into the baby fight AEG. I'm pretty sure this is exactly the same as a week back. It's Bruno, and we've got Nia, and we've got Bruno there. Okay, so that's much the same. Moving along to the metal collection stuff. it is a little bit different. Okay, these brake card Brunos are here. I'm actually not sure whether he's $12 or the other price, but this is definitely on the wrong peg. Carly is a $12 item, okay, but she's been, I mean, it'd be easy to be confused because it's just a single thing. She should be there. And then, of course, the consistent non-seller is here. Little Fandy, the flipper. Yeah, consistently doesn't sell. That's one thing I'm absolutely certain of. Actually, it just reminded me, I think there was a diesel here, because there was a diesel presenting at the front there, and the other one that's missing, and I remember there was, yeah, duck's gone. Okay, so there's two Carlies there, but the others that were on that peg have gone. I had to use some brain cells to remember that one. Okay, that was that zone there, and down below it is the AEG 5-pack construction crew, whatever. I give this one a thumbs up, big thumbs up. I love this pack. But as it was before, it is just purely a facade. There's nothing going on behind there. Just going down to the lower 3 shelves, I'll tell you what, I think they're much the same as when I was here a week ago. I don't think much has changed there. Maybe some stuff's been shuffled around. I can still see that All Engines Go Knapford James set is still here. I think they'll be here for the next millennium, to be honest. It's a very much hard sell. It was an end display, and if I showed before, look, there's just stacks of them there. It goes all the way to the back. It's $29. It was end displayed for $23, and they didn't touch it $23. Maybe $15, maybe $5. I think $5 is a better price. Going down there, the Which Way Bridge, Bullstroke, blah blah, is still here. Okay, there's another one down there, and the little table doodahs are still there. Might be a lot of fun, but I really don't know. I've noticed something quite nice about this playset here. It comes with a little customised, babyfied All Engines Go Thomas. That would be lovely in my Thomas collection. I'll tell you what, I'm an experienced toy hunter. What I'm up against is, this is the only retailer in a very large shopping mall in the northern part of Sydney that carries Thomas and Friends stuff. That's the problem. I've got so few choices to go to. But then again, if I was after a talking Nia here, you know what? I would have hit the frippin' jackpot.
Oh, frippin' hell! I'm struggling here! It's frippin' heavy! Guess what I've got? I've got his Mr. Frickin' Hammer! The real frickin' deal with the record roof attached! This clown tried to find us for this video because he wanted to smash stuff up! And guess what? I knew where Mr. Hammer was and he didn't! And that's why I liked it, because this guy knows! You know what he knows? Come close, I'll tell you. He knows frippin' nothing. And in this video, how the frippin' hell did we go from looking at Easter treats to frippin' chocolate downsizing? I mean, give me a frippin' break! How the frippin' hell did we go from looking at two totally different things into one frippin' video? He wouldn't have a frippin' clue how to make anything! Anyway, I know what's very special to him, and because they got Mr. Hammer right here, you know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna mess up his mind, and I'm gonna smash up what's most important to him. Just wait and see. Just follow me downstairs for a moment. I can't stop laughing, you know why? Take a look over there on the table. I wonder how many taps from Mr. Hammer here is going to totally dismantle his precious 2019 chocolate Thomas. Let's find out!
I just heard the screaming down here. Oh my fripping God. What the hell's going on here? What the frippin' hell's going on here? Fripping hell. It looks like there's been a psychopath at the table here. And just looking around here, there's a seat that I sit on when I make my videos. What the hell? Where's Mr. Hammer? I haven't seen Mr. Hammer for ages. I was missing Mr. Hammer. What the hell's that doing here? And look at this. It looks like the head of Mr. Hammer here has got chocolate on it. Fripping hell. Who in the hell would grab Mr. Hammer and smash up my most precious, valuable, highly collectible chocolate Thomas? This is so disappointing. I am really, really pissed off. I mean, it just makes no sense. And I'm sort of thinking, well, maybe the hammer was up on a shelf. I have got a shelf up here. And maybe the hammer's fallen down from the shelf and done something like that. But if it did that, the hammer would be left on the table. Oh my fripping God. I tell you what, that is just so maniac, so senseless, and so utterly disappointing. I think I'm going to go inside and start crying. I can't believe this. Who would do something like this to me? I just don't want to know. Oh, God. I suppose I better come and clean it up. It just makes no sense seeing this. I just... It just makes no sense.